Hello, this is Reporter Television and I am Bethel Mikhail with the news. The Ethiopian Human Rights Commission on Friday presented the long-awaited report regarding the responses taken by security forces that resulted in the death of hundreds of protesters in different parts of Oromia Regional State and North Gondar of the Amara Regional State. In a lengthy report led by the Commissioner, Dr. Addisu Gebreegzabir, it was revealed that 173 people were killed, including 14 security officers, with 616 people sustaining injuries in Oromia. However, the Commission said the police had used proportional measures. Addisu said that the situation could have worsened if it was not contained by the members of the Federal Police and National Defense Force, which were deployed upon request by the regional administration. According to Addisu, if the measures were not taken, it might have led to religious conflicts and ethnic clashes. The Commission also said that the protests in Oromia were caused by a lack of good governance, human rights violations by security forces at zonal and Warada level, and the escalating unfair justice system in the region. Addisu told MPs that their legitimate questions and protests had been hijacked by the outlawed group Oromo Liberation Front and anti-peace elements from abroad and at home. In a separate report, the Commission confirmed that some 87 people, including 2 police officers, were killed during protests in Amara, while 87 were injured in Chilga, Lai Armacho, and Metama Yohannes and other waradas of North Gondar. The protests were sparked after self-administration request was made by Qamant nationalities residing in the region. Among the dead are children, women, and elders, including monks. Unlike Oromia, the Commission held the Amara Regional State Special Security Force accountable for taking disproportionate responses, which eventually led to fighting among residents in various places, particularly in Marawa and Aikal districts. The report also indicated that some members of the Qamant community were accountable for instigating the clashes and deadly attacks. He further said that the killings and injuries could have been avoided. Yohannes Abi reported that the Law, Justice and Administration Standing Committee welcomed the Commission's report without reservation. The House of People's Representatives on Tuesday approved the Computer Crime Proclamation Bill, which aims to regulate and protect against cyber crimes and protect the rights of individuals. The bill, which was originally presented to the House in April by the Ministry of Science and Technology, has been the talk of the town, in which many fear it may be used by the government to stifle criticism via technological-aided communication devices, including computers, cell phones, and other internet-compatible tools. The new law is set to serve protection against local and foreign cyber crimes, targeting government institutions and infrastructure, as well as safeguarding the rights of individuals due to the growing penetration of the internet, computers, and cell phones in the country. It was also said that the latest bill was prepared to incorporate new legal mechanisms and procedures in order to prevent, control, investigate, and prosecute computer crimes and facilitate the collection of electronic evidences. The Computer Crime Proclamation places restrictions on cyber transmission of illegal content, including sexually explicit material. A prison sentence of 5 to 10 years is the stipulated punishment for the transmission, distribution, and possession of illegal content in the form of cyber, pictures, videos, text, and audio speeches. Under the new law, suspects found guilty of hacking government infrastructure will face 10 up to 15 years in prison. The sentence also includes a fine of 100,000 to 200,000 birr. According to our reporter Jonas Abi, Information Network Security Agency INSA has been mandated to investigate cybercrimes. The U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, said Ethiopia Electric Power has agreed to pay $6.5 million USD to refund investors in the United States after failing to register bonds it marketed and sold to American residents of Ethiopian descent. As a part of a settlement, the utility will pay $5,848,000 USD in disgorgement and 601,000 in prejudgment interest, according to an SEC administrative order. Investors can receive distribution payments from the disgorgement fund up to a maximum of their principal loss plus interest owed to them. Ethiopia Electric Power Corporation held investor meetings in the US and advertised the bond sales on the website of its embassy as well as on radio and television, the SEC said. The regulator said it went to raise 5.8 million USD from about 3,100 US residents between 2011 and 2014 without ever registering the bond offering with the SEC. Sources told the reporter that after SEC's administrative order was issued, top officials of the National Bank of Ethiopia and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs criticized officials of the power utility for gross negligence. It was learned from Wuddin Hazaneba's report that officials pulled from the Central Bank, Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Ministry of Finance and Economic Corporation and would look into possible ways of rectifying the issue and resell the bond in the US. After the government started pushing Chinese mobile phone makers to export, the manufacturers who assemble their products here are anxious and confused, saying they are not ready to compete on a global arena. A representative from Smudel Communications Terminal Factory plc told the reporter that the government's new move pushes plants to export mobile phone as high as 20% of their total production capacity. There are about 9 mobile phone assembling plants in the country, with the capacity of assembling 200 up to 20,000 units per day. The government said that plants should generate some 5 million USD from exports that has left the assemblers in anxiety. Similar mobile phone companies like Techno Ethiopia generates USD 10 million from exports. According to Smudel, it is very difficult to export while producing mobile phones 100% on imported raw materials and imports. The total value addition the plants have so far stands around at 10%, and out of which 6% of its share is Techno Mobile alone. Fite Bakala, Corporate Communications Directorate Director at the Metal Industry Development Institute, MIDI, told the reporter that unlike steel industries, mobile phone plants are not considered as strategic sectors, and for that reason both MIDI and the Ministry of Industry expect producers to gradually start exporting. Acknowledging the challenges, the government is pushing plants to increase their capacity and get ready to face the challenges. Fite told our reporter Brahanu Fikada that the companies have joined the business aware of the requirements and the government's intention to generate foreign currency. Africa Hall, the permanent headquarters of United Nations Economic Commission for Africa, UNECA, is to undergo a major renovation. According to the information the reporter received from UNECA, the estimated renovation costs for structural and structural fixes or modernization of the building while preserving the historical heritage is about 56.9 million USD. The cost is to be covered through UN's regular budget and voluntary contributions from member states. Brahanu Fikada reported that an attempt to preserve Africa Hall as a heritage structure, ECA has joined hands with the government of Ethiopia. Africa Hall has remained as permanent headquarters of UNECA. The building hosts the late Mater artist Word Laureate Afwerk Tekle's most famous work, Total Liberation of Africa, 150 square meters of stained glass artwork. It was here in the conference center that African Union's predecessor, the OAU, was founded on the 25th of May 1963. Finally, sports. With less than 60 days left for the 2016 Rio Olympics, the Ethiopian Athletics Federation, EAF, and athletes are loggerheads with regard to the selection of marathon runners. Following the selection on Tuesday, some 80 up to 100 athletes led by double Olympic gold medalist Haile Gebrselassie, Olympic marathon gold medalist Gezaheng Abara, and AF World Cross Country Championship winner ገብረ Mariam protested against the National Federation at Addis Ababa Stadium, accusing the EAF of poor management. Qananiisa Beqqele, who was omitted from the marathon team for Rio, stated that the National Federation did not select the athletes fairly and was biased. He said that the federation recruited athletes based on individuals' interest. Meanwhile, on Wednesday, the officials of the EAF held a press conference at National Hotel and said that the selection was conducted based on 5 requirements. The criteria included number of wins in major marathons, results from the World Championships last year, and the best marathon times in competition over the last 2 years, consistency of performance in competitions, recovery time, and resistance in finishing a race in bad atmosphere. The athletes, on their part, said that they disagree with the criteria and claimed that they were notified at the 11th hour. According to Haile, the structure of EAF is not fit for athletes and the federation has to be led by athletes themselves. According to our sport reporter Dawit Tolosa, some members of the Ethiopian Athletics Association participated in protests alongside with the elite athletes. That was all for today. Thank you for watching. For detailed information and exclusive interviews, make sure to go to our website, thereporterethiopia.com.